Joining us now live via Skype is Steve Aborishade, who is the project coordinator for NigeriaHIVinfo.com. Steve, thank you so much for speaking with us on Network Africa.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Now, I'd like to start by asking you about these figures. We're seeing an estimation of 2.1 million people, that's teenagers, who are infected with HIV, and we understand that 80% is being said to be coming from the African continent. Is that true?
That's very right. That's very right. Nigeria actually, have a large percentage of that burden, and countries of Eastern and Southern Africa. Of course, we know that Nigeria, we have a 4.1% prevalence among the general population, but among the most at-risk group, it's higher. But especially, among our youth, the percentage of young people in 2013 that HIV positive was 4.2%. That is between the age of 15 to 24. Prevalence between the ages of 15 to 19 was 2.9%. The ages of 20 to 24.2%. Very low. Quite a lot of reasons why this is the case, and a key aspect, a key important factor is the fact that we lack a focused, health education in our schools, because the majority of our adults are still in school. Any health education, and in our society as well. Sex is something that is still not being discussed properly. So that's a big problem. Again, in our society, we realize that there is an upsurge in sexual violence. A lot of our young girls are being raped, and those who are not raped have to, probably go into sex work to survive. And this is really on the increase. And we must not forget that the first incidence of HIV in Nigeria in 1996 was in a 13-year-old girl. So I don't really know why we have failed, to plan for this age group. Interestingly, again, among the young population, we find an increase in some unsafe sexual practices, like anal sex. Increasingly, a large number of our young people are going into anal sex, and the Microbicide Society of Nigeria, in some of their recent studies, come out with staggering thought that it's serious between this age population. And again, less than 20% of our young people who engage in premarital sex hardly use condoms. They don't protect. In fact, less than 20% of them actually can really have the knowledge. They don't really have the knowledge, about how to protect themselves, and even about the knowledge of HIV transmission. Importantly, we must also note the fact that testing generally is really low in the population. A lot of Nigerians, even less in the general population, less than 2% of Nigerians have tested since the advent of HIV in this country. Is worse in the adjacent population, because again we don't have youth-friendly centers. The centers that we have are not specifically, speaking to the needs of the young people. So most young people, they don't really go out. So they prefer to patronize quacks. And where do they get information? Online. These are information that are not really helpful to them. And again, we have to note that the coming of the GSM technology, as good as it is, which places so much power, so much freedom in the hands of a young population, again has a lot of disadvantages, in the sense that quite at a very early age, they have access to pornography, which of course instantly leads to sexual lack of protection in sexual debut. So most of these are coming together. And then look at our schools. Most girls, they call it now, they call it the Risto France. Most young men, they are out on the streets, doing prostitution, and it's becoming accepted, and that is it's so risky. It's really such a very, very bad situation.
Now, Steve, you've basically given us a summary of the challenges. Quickly, if you can you tell us the way forward Because now we've been able to understand why there's a problem as regards HIV and AIDS, especially in the teenage population.
First of all, and as a matter of priority, it is important that we identify the need to inculcate. UNICEF actually came out with a curriculum which has to be adopted across our schools. And to the contemporary needs of these young people, that is lacking. We have to talk more about sex. Our parents, they need to discuss more about sex. The adolescents need to have power to negotiate safer sex that they don't have. We have to put in place policies that ensure that women, especially young women, are not at the mercy of men in terms of sexual violence. This is really serious. So these are offenders, sexual violence offenders must be punished. They have to be punished. Education must be in place. Services must be friendly to the needs of the youth. This is something that we must do as a nation. Again, we have to up our effort in terms of getting a lot of people to come and test. Because with testing, you can take charge of your life. They are not coming to test. Most young people in Nigeria don't even know that. And once you get it, can take years for it to come out. So by the time it comes out, it's already late. But it comes out, you already pass it to several other people. These are the challenges. But these are things that needed to be put in place. These are things that our government must, as a matter of priority, put more effort to ensure that they are in place.
Steve Aborishade, thank you so much for speaking with us on Network Africa. We really appreciate your time. We do apologize for the audio quality, but thankfully we were able to make out what he was saying about the challenges and the ways to address having a new AIDS epidemic in Africa, seeing that 80% of the population, the teenage population, is said to be coming from Africa as regards those who are infected by HIV and AIDS. Steve Aborishade is the project coordinator for NigeriaHIVinfo.com. Thank you so much for watching Network Africa. I'm Cynthia Are.